Went for my second opinion. She was a very young nurse practitioner, new in the practice. And she immediately went to run a test. And the last thing she said, she came back in. She's like, I want to run an HIV test just to rule that out.
Yeah.
And I shrugged it off. I was like, okay. I said, well, that's okay. I said, I just had one 3 months prior because I always get one with my annual exam. And I said, I just had one. I was good, but okay. She's like, you don't have to do it. I said, no. And I knew because, my ex had been all over the place and was going and did not know what he was up to. I knew he was in bad shape with his addiction. And I was like, and, again, I had been with a couple. So I was like, I better check. I better get checked.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, right?
Did not think another thing about it. She gave me some antibiotics. She took a mono test, she took another strep test, and she took an HIV test. Didn't think another thing about it. She gave me some antibiotics. I started taking them. I started feeling better. My symptoms were getting better. Throat was still horrible. That was one of the worst things. But I was getting better. Didn't think anything about it. And she called me in about 5 days. I would say it was about 5 days. And she said, I need you to come in and take another test. She's like, it could be a false positive. It could be inconclusive. I was like, I thought she was talking about strep test. I was having
your mind is not even going there.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then she said you had a positive HIV test. And when she said that, I was like, oh. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, that's what's wrong with me. So,
did you intuitively confirm that to yourself at that very moment, even though you don't want to believe it?
Yep, I knew immediately. I was like, yep, of course this is what I have. So I told her, I was like, I'll be right there. I worked for the Department of Corrections in the Inspector General's office at that time. So I told my boss, and he knew I'd been sick. I had not missed a day of work, but I said, look, I've got to go take a follow-up test and see what's going on. So he's like, okay. So I come back, and as soon as I got back, I called I never got sick. So my only doctor was my OBGYN that I'd had since 1996, I think. And I called him, his personal phone, and I texted him, and I said, what are the chances of a false positive HIV test? Before I could set my phone down, he called me.